The title of this book, Truth or Tradition, is written by our beloved brother, Dick York. We are in chapter 3, the title of chapter 3, The Danger of Borrowed Tradition. Chapter 3, subpart 4. Chapter 3, subpart 4. It lay between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea, its southern border just north of the Negev. There the Israelites came with 12 of their number went in to spy out the land and bring back word of what lay before them. And what a report they brought. It was a land full of magnificent fruit, flowing with milk and honey, a land of great wealth and beauty. But there were also fearsome giants in the land, and the people were discouraged from possessing it in spite of the fact that it was the land God had promised them. Only Joshua and Caleb, 2 spies out of 12, were willing to say God will deliver the land and its inhabitants into our hand. The other said, it is too dangerous for our children. The city are whale, the people are giant, and we are grasshopper in their sight. Therefore, the people will not go in. As a result, God spoke again through Moses, this time condemning them to walk in the wilderness for 40 years until that generation of unbelieving Israel should die there. It will be a new generation that will enter into the promise of God. This as the entire Old Testament history is a type of New Testament truth. It demonstrates to us that if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. All things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. It was not the old generation, but a new one that will inherit the promise and enter into the glorious land. At the end of that long period of wandering in the wilderness and prior to their entering into the land, Moses recounted for them the journey they had been on for the past 40 years. In his review, all of that had transpired. He reiterated the law God had given to them. He said, and the Lord commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear the Lord our God for our good always, that he might preserve us alive as it is this day. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God as he had commanded us. Moses' review of the law continued. He said, when the Lord their God shall cut off the nation from before thee, whether thou goest to possess them, and thou succeed them and dwellest in their land, take heed to thyself that thou be not snared by following them after that they be destroyed from before thee, and that thou inquire not after their God, saying, how did these nations serve their God? Even so will I do likewise. Thou shalt not do so unto the Lord their God, for every abomination of the Lord which he hath have they done into their God. Can you use Moses in his great concern for these, the people of God, as they are about to possess the land of the heathen? He knew he will not be going in with them. He has brought them to its border, but God had told him that he will die before they enter that promised land. He also knew the propensity of these people to be led astray by the influence of the heathen. He is concerned for their well-being and especially concerned that they will glorify Jehovah, who has delivered them from the snare of Egypt. This theme comes up continually. They are not to learn the way of the heathen. Moses warned them that if they embrace the heathen tradition, they will soon follow after the God of the people who had preceded them in the land. He told them not even to ask about their God, nor to learn how the nation shall serve them. He specially emphasized to them that whatever the heathen did to their God, they should not do so to Jehovah, because what the heathen did was an abomination to the Lord. This is a principle that is reiterated many times in the Old Testament, and it's also set forth for us in the New Testament. We cannot please God by adapting any of the practices of the heathen to the worship of Jehovah. This is a principle that is reiterated many times in the Old Testament and is also set forth for us in the New Testament. We cannot please God by adapting any of the practices of the heathen to the worship of Jehovah. The different verses used in this chapter 3. First verse, Matthew chapter 15, verse 7 to 9. Second verse, Matthew chapter 24, verse 37. Third verse, Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 24 to 25. And fourth verse, Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 29 to 30. We are now in the end of this chapter 3. We are now in the end of this chapter 3 of this book. Chapter 4 of this book, the title of the book is Truth or Tradition. Chapter 4, the history of the high places in Israel. Chapter 4, the history of the high places in Israel. The Israelites, although God's special people, were not in Israel. They were born to walk after the lusts of the flesh, were inclined to love, revelry, amusement, tradition, and religion. In their heart, they were no different than the heathens around them. God knew that as they assembled nearly 2.5 million strong in their final encampment before moving across Canaan's eastern border, Moses gave them clear instruction about God's commandment concerning the idol, altar, grove, tree, and every tradition the Canaanites used in the worship of their God. He forbade mixed marriage with the people of those nations, for they will turn away their son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. But thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altar, and break down their image, and cut down their grove, and burn their graven image with fire, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord their God. You shall utterly destroy all places wherein the nation which ye shall possess serve their God, upon the high mountain, and upon the hills, and under every green tree. And ye shall overthrow the altar, and break the pillar, and burn the grave with fire. And ye shall hew down the graven image of their God, and destroy the name of them out of that place. Ye shall not do so unto the Lord your God. God told them not only to reject, but to destroy the high places of the heathen. He knew if they did not destroy them, they would be tempted to incorporate them into the worship of Jehovah, which, as they have already observed, will be an abomination. They were warned if they did that, they will incur the wrath of God. The word God used as significant. You shall utterly destroy all. You shall overthrow the altar. You shall break the pillar. You shall burn the grove. You shall hew down the image. You shall destroy the name of their God. These are violent terms. They were not even to coexist with this pagan custom, much less incorporate them into the worship of Jehovah. The date was about 1451 BC. The warning of God were very clear, and the danger of ignoring them were very real. Nevertheless, as they entered the land, they became distracted by the custom of the people.